being the chief lawyer of Bart Giamatti's office and having kind of supervised the investigation of the Pete Rose affair, and of course had to deal with it after Giamatti's death. If Pete Rose came up to you today and said, Mr. Vincent, I am really sorry for what I did, could you personally forgive him and reinstate him?
Well, saying sorry isn't enough. He has to tell me a lot more.
Yeah.
But assuming he comes clean and then helps to straighten out the problem with gambling in baseball, that is the perception that it's not a big deal. Yes, I think his only route back is that route. There's some reason why he can't come clean, and I don't know what it is. It may be that he's got a lot of extenuating stories that he have to tell. I think it smacks of other law enforcement problems. You know, he was really a bad guy. He did a lot of bad stuff.
Plus, he has a personality disorder.
Yeah, he really does. And, you know, I don't know if you've looked at it, but the report we put out is overwhelming. If you can go 4 pages into it without forming... John Dowd, who wrote it for me, said, you know, Fay, he said, if this were a jury, we wouldn't order lunch for the jury. They'd be right back.
I appreciate that.
He said, they'll be right back. I mean, it's just, and you'd say to him, Pete, all these calls from the clubhouse every night to the bookie. And the lady who kept track, she wrote down your name. Who was calling the bookie? It's the middle of July. Well, I don't know. Well, I mean, come on. People argue with me the evidence is simply overwhelming. It's either the greatest multiple-level conspiracy by people that never knew each other to frame Pete, or he did it. And it's inconceivable that he didn't do it. He did it. And he's got to face that. Bless his heart, Selig is very strong. So the worry is the next commissioner. You know, you get somebody who's playing to the gallery. The polls show that 75% of the American public supports Pete. Well, 75% thought that Clinton didn't do anything terribly bad in the White House.
It says more about the American public than it does Pete, doesn't it?
Exactly. It wasn't illegal. The fact is, it was illegal. But nobody's going to prosecute gambling these days. But it's the only real threat to organized sports is corruption. The labor problems aren't going to kill baseball. Real big corruption would do it. And look at football players at Northwestern, a really good school, were rigging a football game. Basketball players at BC, a very good school. A Notre Dame alumnus was trying to rig the Northwestern games. These are high-class, intelligent, educated kids who were corrupt. And if it can happen in college sports, tell me it doesn't happen in big league sports. It does. But the players know that if you screw around with baseball gambling, you're gone. And they know it because Rose is gone. The issue is not about Pete Rose. The issue is how do you keep baseball in good shape? How do you provide a deterrent against betting? If you only say to people, look, if you're a 200 hitter and you bet on baseball, you're out for life. If you're a 350 hitter, you can come back because you are Hall of Famers. There's something wrong about that. Pete Rose should apologize. He should talk to baseball about what he can do to help baseball. And then he might get reinstated. As long as he sees it in terms of baseball owes him something, I don't think he'll be reinstated.
How about George Steinbrenner? Disciplined the boss.
Well, he was paying a gambler for what he thought was information on David Winfield. You can't do that. I mean, obviously, that's a serious violation of baseball's rules. He entered into an agreement with me under which he said he would leave baseball for life. He said he didn't want to stay around, and he was tired. And George did. He wanted to turn it over to his sons, but the minute he left, he realized it was his whole life. And he then asked me if he could come back. And after a while, I let him back. You know, I think he's changed. We all have. I think he's been much more discreet. And he's been a gracious winner, which is, I think, to his credit. But he's been very successful. And I hope he's not bitter. I don't think I ought to be. I mean, he goes his way and I go mine.
What's wrong with baseball right now? They say it's headed for a shutdown. Do you agree?
Well, you have to remember, baseball is two worlds. It's the marvelous game on the field, and then it's the business. The game on the field is still magic, and it is wonderful, and it has assets that no other game has. The business of baseball has a lot of problems, and I think that we're probably heading for a tough go. I think the owners are going to try again to change the system. The owners say, we want a system that will protect us from ourselves. And there are very few businesses that have such a system. I mean, they want to pay a lot of money for players, and then they want a system that says none of us can do it. Because if one of us can do it, we're all forced to do it. Well, the players aren't going to permit that. And they say, why aren't we like workers at IBM or Microsoft? If somebody wants to pay us, we can move from one to the other. In short, the players have a very powerful argument. The problem is that the big clubs have all the money, and there are 3 or 4 clubs that are really struggling today, and baseball has serious problems.
What would you do if you were the commissioner? Can you intervene? Or
I think it's a mistake for baseball, the owners, to think they can change everything overnight. And there's not going to be a salary cap the way there is in football and basketball. The players' union is too smart and too powerful for that. So you can't change 25 years of mistakes in one negotiation. You have to say, we're going to make some small changes. It's going to take a long time to fix this. It can't be fixed overnight. The problem that I think Commissioner Seelig and the owners have is that they want to change things in a big way quickly. That is not going to happen.
you were, or maybe they were, a little cantankerous with you. You had a
Well, sure, they were very angry with me, and they voted no confidence in me, and I said, you can't fire me because the baseball constitution says you can't fire a commissioner. And I would have won that lawsuit, I think. But I decided that life was too short, that I was a lucky guy. I didn't need the job. And if I won the lawsuit, I have to go back to work with people I didn't want to work with. I think I did the right thing. I mean, I miss part of it, but I don't miss the cantankerous fighting and the struggle with the players. It's not a way to spend your life.
Do you buy tickets to go to baseball games?
Well, I'm in a very nice position where I seldom have to buy a ticket, so I don't want to answer that untruthfully. I go to games, not many. I go to the Mets. I like Fred Wilpon and Mr. Doubleday. I go to see the Red Sox periodically, but and I'm on the board of AOL Time Warner, and we own the Braves, so I go to a few games in Atlanta, but not a lot.
That's enough.
That's enough. I like small town baseball. I like minor league baseball. I go to some of that.
You ever been to Cooper Stadium in Columbus?
I've never been there.
It's aged. But
I know of it. I've never been there.
do you intend to try to continue the tour with these guys periodically, or just try to? It's a cause you've taken up.
It's a burden on them. I mean, Larry Doby, who comes tomorrow, has got some health problems. These guys are getting older. I consider it a blessing, every one I can do. I don't know that I can do anymore. And I'll ask them if they want to do it. If they do, we'll find it.
And you're a Mets diehard.
Well, I root for the Mets. I mean, I root for the Red Sox because I have a strong sense of failure, and that gets reinforced on a regular basis.